From Cape Town to Johannesburg, almost 1,000 miles in the tracks of the early Boer settlers to hear the hopes and fears of today's South Africans.
Table Mountain, the site that greeted the first whites to arrive in South Africa. Almost 350 years later, their controversial rule is about to end. Plying the seas off the Cape today, fishermen who sum up the polarized views of this nation's immediate future.
Well, it can be a good news South Africa if everything that's been promised comes to real, but if nothing comes to real, then it's going to be a bad South Africa.
But either way, there will be a lot of bloodshed. A lot of innocent people are going to die.
It was by ox cart that the Dutch Boers made their famous trek across the country. Now, just weeks before the people they and the British dominated take power, we followed their route north by train to sample the political landscape. First, the Cape, home to South Africa's winelands and the so-called coloured community. They suffered under apartheid, but many coloureds believe their best interests lie with the white-led National Party.
The white man is good for us.
What about Mandela?
No.
Are you going to vote?
Yes.
Who for?
Leclerc.
Across the vast tracts of barren land known as the Karoo, to the annual horse show at Beaufort West. The farm-owning whites are already cautiously accepting change. For the first time, blacks are being allowed to compete in the show. Most of the farmers back the National Party, but almost all the blacks are for the ANC. And a Mandela victory doesn't frighten all the landowners here.
He wants his people to have a good quality of life. So we'll all share. The cake's big enough for all of us.
Further north, a scene straight out of the new South Africa. Blacks are returning to land they were evicted from under apartheid. These people see the ANC as their hope for the future.
It's a new beginning. It's a renaissance. It's a new birth.
But here lie the very roots of white anxiety, a redistribution of land under a black government that could take from whites much of what they own. We travelled on to the Western Transvaal, where that fear is felt most deeply. Here live the direct descendants of the Boers, right-wing farmers who remain determined to fight for a Volksstaat, their own white state.
We Afrikaners are prepared to destroy this country and start all over again.
Everything all right here?
A radical view, and one not shared by most Afrikaners. The guard travelling on our train says change is inevitable and the right-wingers are out of step.
I don't think there's any future for them, because you've got to live together.
But just weeks away from this historic election, is that a forlorn hope? Our journey has revealed a South Africa still deeply divided. It's highlighted black expectations and white fears.
Journey's end, Johannesburg, and in the volatile townships, troops try to keep the peace between supporters of the ANC and the mainly Zulu Inkatha party. But the vast majority of South Africa's 22 million blacks hope that if the election can't bring an end to the murderous violence, it may just bring them a better life.
We're too hungry now. We want money.
And that's the challenge for South Africa's first black-led government, meeting those expectations while convincing the people that little can change here overnight. Mark Austin, News at 10, Johannesburg.